Hello, everyone, and welcome to eTwinning Success Stories 4, the fourth episode of a series of eTwinning webinar meant to bring you the inspiring teaching experience from educators of the eTwinning community. Please note that this session is recorded and that the recording will be published on the official YouTube channel of the European School Education platform and uploaded also to the page on the platform related to the webinar, and more info will be posted in the chat soon about that. Okay, so we are ready to start, and I will introduce you to today's session, which is entitled eTwinning Success Stories 4. As you know, the monthly topic of the European School Education platform for the month of May is Basic Skills Science. So for this occasion, we invited two guest speakers. The first guest speaker is the moderator of the feature group that is under the spotlight throughout the whole month of May. And it's a feature group on basic skills in action, which has a page dedicated to science and many ongoing and upcoming activities on the topic. And you will have the opportunity to hear more from the moderator, Rafael Montero Braga, who is here with us today. Then the core part of the webinar will be dedicated to eTwinning ambassadors and scientists ambassadors Aspasia Milona, who is an experienced teacher working mainly in the field of science education. And you will get to hear a lot of best practice insights from her projects and tips on how to integrate creatively and with collaboration science in the classroom. But don't forget that we want to hear from you, that you are also the protagonist of this session. And that's why I will soon post in the chat a Padlet where we invite you to post your own success stories, your own best practice in the topic of science education, and not only. This Padlet will collect all your contributions, and at the end of the webinar, we'll be happy to read some of your contributions, some of your tips or your own success stories, and this will enrich this exciting conversation on the topic of science education. So these were all the informative part. Before we start with the webinar, I will just remind you before leaving the floor to Rafael, who will give a short introduction to the feature group Basic Skills in Action, that you are very much encouraged to use the chat in case you have any questions, any thoughts, any also success story that you would like to share throughout the session, and especially if you have also any technical question, any support that you might need. I will be there monitoring the chat, and our speakers will be there as well monitoring the chat. And for any question that is relevant to the topic of the webinar, I'm sure they will be happy to address the questions. Okay, so now we are really ready to start, and I will now leave the floor to Rafael, who will tell you something more about his feature group on basic skills in action.
Thank you very much, Alessia, and thank you very much for this opportunity. As you have already shared with the audience, this month of May is the month in which we highlight the basic skills feature group. So I am here as just to present the group to the audience and just to invite you to, if you find it of your interest or align with your teaching practice, just to join us and learn what we do. So what is the basic skills in action feature group in a nutshell? So let's say that, as you know, basic skills is a very broad subject. So we have not only science, but also languages, and we also have technical. So there are a lot of things that are basic skills. Just let's say that we talk about numeracy, literacy, digital literacy, and science, which are the four basic skills that are highlighted by the European Commission. This 2025 year is seeing a strong support from the European Commission on the basic skills. Well, I've put several links in the two slides from my presentation, so please feel free to click on them and get some additional info. Part of that support that we receive is just that we try to build a community of like-minded teachers who would like to share their own experience, similar to what is going to happen today with Aspasia and She will later share her own success story. And so what we try to do is also to share our own success stories. You know that sometimes it's difficult to engage the students, and myself being a math teacher, it's something that I have to deal daily on how to involve my students. And we try to share some good practices here in the group. Additionally to that, we organize events. So we have webinars, we have activities, but one of the key features of the group are the updates. So we try to share, let's say, what is going on at the moment that is of interest to the participants of the feature group. So we share contests, we share opportunities, we share open calls, courses, all these many things, additional to the best practices from the other teachers. I have already put the link to the feature group in the chat, so please feel free to take a look. And if you consider joining, we will be more than happy to have you with us. We are a small group. We are like 120 members. We were created this year, so we are, let's say, like a toddler. We are beginning, but we have a lot of ambition and we would like to grow. So we would gladly we will be very happy to have you with us. If you have any additional question, that is my email. Feel free to drop me an email and ask any question. And if not, I will see you online on eTwinning. Thank you very much. And I leave the floor now to Aspasia.
Thank you, Rafael. Thank you, dear Raul. I'm very honored to be here today, and I don't know if I'm a scientist at all, but I love chemistry very much, and I work as a teacher for food technology department in a vocational school, and we apply science, chemistry behind food a lot in our classrooms. So I would like to share some practices that you can adopt even in other levels of education. I would like firstly to tell you that I developed eTwinning after 7 years in education. And in the beginning, I wanted just to attend some webinars, some events, some seminars. But then I got involved in eTwinning projects. And I think that all my practices have changed, and even my love for chemistry and food science, nutrition science have changed a lot through these projects. So in this presentation, I will try to share with you all these practices that I have developed in my classrooms and what were the things that went well, but also what didn't go well, because there are some mistakes, but we all learn about our mistakes. And I think even in science, students have to know that maybe will be a mistake, but we have to learn and see what to do different in other case, and also to find why we had this failure. It's a basic skill, not only for science. So we discuss about how we have built basic skills in food technology and nutrition classrooms. I will try to say something about curiosity, innovation, and real world connections, because I think that we have to combine all those so as to have some results, some good results in our classrooms, and also some sustainable results. And then I will share with you some practices that we adopt in our classrooms, going from worksheets to Wonder. COVID-19 helped us a lot in this, and also eTwinning, the experience we had in eTwinning. And I will share some good practices as some case in my journey to eTwinning and science. So first
Aspasia,
of all,
sorry to interrupt you. Just when you want to change slide, please tell me because I'm in control of the presentation. Otherwise, you can take control of the presentation yourself.
I think that I have already took the control. I have changed. Thank you,
It's still,
Alessia.
I still have the control. It's me. I changed the slide right now, so it's perfectly fine. Just maybe remind me when you want to move ahead with the slide. That would be
Okay.
perfect. Thanks.
Okay. First of all, I would like to tell that food technology and nutrition is something practical, and students experience this in everyday lives. And I think that it's important to make use of this so as to see the chemistry behind food and every experiments we do. And in my opinion, I think that if we focus on some core scientific skills like observation, questioning, hypothesizing, analyzing, and concluding, we can build blocks of scientific thinking very much easier. And in this way, we can help students to understand the world around them and how food is produced, how food is processed, and finally, when it comes in their plate, what is the composition and if it's harmful or not. So I try to adopt all this even in theory subjects, not only to the laboratory subjects. On the other hand, I think that these basic science skills are very useful because they are transferable. We can adapt this to real life. We can show to our students that they will use them in their future careers, but also to their life learning opportunities after they graduate from the school. But that I find very helpful is to make them understand that these science skills are essential, especially those that are related to the food as we have these lessons to their life because they help them to make informed decisions. And if I manage, I believe that if I manage to make them have this scientific option of thinking and be critical, they will use it in every part of their lives. What I have seen so far is that students are more engaged and their curiosity is increased, and finally we have better learning outcomes, and some of them even change their opinion of why they came to a vocational high school instead of a general high school, because they develop more and more, and maybe they have become there to study something else, and through case studies or visits, they develop that they want to do something different. And finally, I believe that it helps them very much to their lives. In this slide, I would like to show you how curiosity, innovation, and real-world connections make learning more relevant and more memorable, and how is that adapted to our classrooms, and I suppose even to your classrooms. Okay, first of all, I think that we all agree that curiosity is the first step so as to gain this science skill. So we are trying to encourage students to explore the science behind food, to ask why things happen in the way that they happen, or why that they hypothesized that will happen didn't happen, through all the stages of food production and preparation. We also encourage them to experiment and to develop critical thinking, also by developing some scientific researches, making observations there. And in this way, they also have developed some data analysis skills. We make use of innovation, mostly experimenting in the kitchen, because, okay, we have the laboratories, but students also like cooking workshops. So we make use of cooking workshops, not only to think that they are cook chefs. We say you are not chefs, you have to explore the science, chemistry behind food. And in every part of cooking workshops, they don't just cook, they have to follow a scientific method, though, so they have to develop something that they are expecting from the beginning, or to make some results through the process. And this way, they are using design thinking skills too, and they adapt it to problem solving. And finally, we use real world connections by hosting some experts, or organizing some visits to industries, or to micro industries related to food, so as students to see the process in in the place that it's adapted, not just only for a video through YouTube, etc., to interview the people there, to see the machinery and the equipment they use, and to make a direct connection between what they learn and the world that they will be in their future careers. And I think that this is also important because with these visits, students can also see, for example, if safety that they follow to their laboratory is different from the safety that people use in the work placement, and also to understand how do this food system works. What's the difference between the local and global food system? And in that part, I would like to say that Erasmus projects have also helped us to develop something more. And with real world connections, they are thinking about their future careers too. And following all those, we finally have achieved more or less students not just learn science, but also to do science. And before I go to analyze some of our projects, I would like to tell you that especially after COVID-19, we have used some digital tools so as to go from worksheets to Wonder, because it's important for students to be used in this way, because I think that in this way they are more engaged. Thanks God, we have a lot of simulation and virtual labs around food. And also I am passionate about STEM comics, and my students too. And every year from the beginning, I make clear to them that STEM comics, I will use them a lot to my teaching and learning activities, so as to share with them some more difficult content, so as to be more memorable and given in a more fun way. But I also ask students to make presentations about some cases or some practices as some approaches that are adapted to food science. And also our laboratories are giving us STEM comics, the parts, so as students to see each part what they have to do. It's another way than following a video. Escape rooms, another thing that I like a lot. We use escape rooms not for entertainment, it's for a better understanding. Actually, escape rooms are built in problem solving, and they have some quizzes, they have some tasks, there are some case studies. I like to include there some simulations or some studies, some research, and they have to read the research collaboratively and make some notes and present in teams in this way, because I think that it's a part of inquiry-based learning, something like that. I love very much web quests. I was lucky enough to have a project some years before, an Erasmus project, and I developed web quests, CLIL and STEM, and through that time I'm using them very much. And I think that it's important because we have a repository and students can go back after they graduate when they are to university and take some notes of research too. Gallery walking is also used for research. I have already told about case studies and cooking workshops where actually we turn recipes into science lab, and students are also encouraged to develop some new recipes or to transform some traditional recipes to new one and apply some scientific theory to the lab. And last but not least, project-based learning through eTwinning and Erasmus. And we can find a lot of projects. In the beginning, I was afraid because we are a vocational school, and when we were to the old eTwinning platform, I was afraid that no one would like to make a collaboration with vocational education school because there are the differences in the curriculum. But our topic is so common, and we had some really good partnerships through all these years, and we learn from each other. Even with primary school students, we have collaborated and we had great results. And here is a repository of some of the platforms we use in our lessons, in our subjects. And here you can see some escape rooms that I have developed through all these years with students. There are some Pixon comics. I love Pixon. It's a pity that you have to pay for it now, but it works, so I continue to pay. I think that this presentation will be shared to Rafael Group, and you can click in everything, and you can see the links there. So you can do that after that. And I would like to start my trip, my journey to eTwinning and project of science, but it would be a pity to don't refer to my first project because my first project has nothing to do with science skills, but it's always in my heart because there was a friend's partner that she mentored me in eTwinning, and she also introduced me some people that we have strong partnership after that. And I can see that it's the only person that I have never met, although they had an Erasmus project and they visited us because she was sick the period that they came. So I'm grateful to Lorraine, and European Tastes was the project, but had nothing to do with science and cooking, etc. The first touch with STEM learning, let's say, and science was through sharing cultures through food eTwinning project. It was a project where I found the idea. I couldn't think that we could build virtual restaurants and we could run these virtual restaurants and develop so many things about STEM, about laboratories, and to make so many exchanges. Actually, we had some virtual restaurants. Every country gave a name to the restaurant, and during this running, we had to develop culinary lessons. Each school organized for the other one, and students have to design balanced meals, to analyze these meals, and to make some recipes, to change some recipes from traditional to one, to develop some preservation methods that were applied before and still now, and also to understand the chemistry behind cooking, but also to make use of leftovers so as to consider how we can protect environment too. It was an amazing project. And I can say that this was the first time that I felt that I was ready to apply for eTwinning quality level, and we took it, and it will be always in my head as the beginning. After that, we had a lot of projects, but they had nothing to do with science skills. It was more theoretically projects. And the next step that will be always in my heart is it's Smart Savior Land, and it's a project that we built together with some friends. I like to call them sisters by heart, because we had a strong partnership before that, and we all met to a STEM webinar and designed this project all together. And actually here we had 9 modules, STEM modules, following the trip of food from the farm to the fork. But firstly, we had to develop how climate change have been affected by food systems and how food systems affect climate change. And this included a lot of activities and gave us the chance to analyze every part. And it was the first time that I made use of robotics. Actually, this one that we also presented to a webinar, students have had to develop the preparatory practices in the food industry, and they had to focus on how we can do quality control there, and how food is split by color, by weight, etc. So we had some STEM activities, laboratory activities related to the preparative processing. And then students made use of robotics so as to utilize a quality control system based to the color of each fruit. And I have chosen here Pixon Comics because it was a project where students generated about 150 comics on a variety of problem-solving topics. And there are also, we had a lot of teacher-generated scientific comics, but it was very good to know how students, it was the first year, 2022, that students generated their comics. After that, every year students make their comics. And here is an escape room. It was included a lot of simulation. If you click, you can adapt this to your content and make it more simple. It has a lot of simulation and extra activities for those students that want to go a step further than the others. And the good with this one is at the end, students have to collect some numbers for each task so as to have a mystery code and to unlock so as to go to the final task. And after finishing the final task, there is a certificate. It was the first time that there was a bonus at the end, and students enjoyed it very much. And here you can see also some other escape rooms that we used there, and all these paper magazines that students created through the activities. In each module, students had to keep notes for everything they learned, something like, let's say, a learning book. And their notes and their collaborative works were transferred to e-magazines. And so there is one magazine for each module with the tasks that were given, so teachers can make use and adapt them, and also with students' work, sable of good practices, etc. And there is also the STEM module project guide that was one of our final results. and the website that you can see more. Okay. And next step, Kitchen Wonders. Next step, Kitchen Wonders. Actually, it was a project that students have to develop a lot of about nutrients, but every nutrient was explored by a lot of laboratory activities so as to see all the principles, the properties and functions of its group of nutrients. And actually here we were the same partners with other partnerships. And I think that it's important to okay, it's very good to see and know other people, etc. But there are some partners that you know that you can work a lot and you have a similar view of the things. And we did this project, and after that, with almost the same partnership, we gained the European Prize 2024, and we had the chance to go to Brussels and see almost everyone that I have participated with, and it's an opportunity that I will never forget. This project was natural is good, chemical is bad, and students here had to analyze physical and chemical compounds and develop if they are good or not for the environment and our health. And also we wanted students to see that they have some misunderstanding about their options of view. I have now seen to the chat that some encounter a problem with the presentation.
Yes, Aspasia, I'm checking if it involves all the participants or maybe it's just a connection issue of one or few, just to understand if I need to re-upload it or no. Can you confirm if you, in the chat, if you are looking at the slide with the title Example of Good Practices eTwinning with the European prizes image, just to be sure? Aspasia, can you see this slide?
No, I can see the slide, the right slide. I can see this
Okay.
slide.
Also in the chat, they are confirming that they see the right slide. So I would suggest for the participants who still see one of the first slide to disconnect and reconnect. It might be a connection issue. And Aspasia, you can continue then.
Okay,
That's fixed.
thank you. And in this project, we had a lot of STEM experiments, and actually students identified here that some chemical substances are even in foods that they thought that there is not. So I think that it was important for students to think, but we also focused here to fake news about some foods. And for example, students have to make a research and analyze if there is a problem with Himalayan salt and if it's better to use than the sodium chloride, and to see if all these claims are true or no. And combined with another activity where they had to see which are the food additives and to check the packaging of food and develop, do I know all these things? Which are the additives? Are those that I was thinking that are additives truly are, and it's harmful or not? Because sometimes we think that all food additives are harmful, but they had to think about it, to make a research. And I think that it was very good that students understood that I have to take care about the packaging information before I buy something. I think that this is the most important of this project, also with laboratories. And here I have to say that the basic laboratories were these 4 that are presented in this slide. And in this period, I wasn't at school. I had a surgery, and I was in the house, and I was giving instruction to students by phone. So we had some experiments that didn't work, and when I came back, we repeated again, and students have kept notes what was wrong or what they were thinking that went wrong during the experiment. And I also told them that sometimes I'm also doing the same. Okay, next step was diet inspector and nutrition science here. And this one escape room students had to develop how we can make an assessment to decide if someone needs to do diet or no. And it was the first time that there were quizzes with mathematic questions there, but they also had to develop how some diets work in our body. So there was a stimulation through experiments so as students to understand why I can't eat when I follow this diet, for example. And here you can see an experiment about gluten. So students had to see that as dry gluten pop-ups when we have this in oven, the same happens in our stomach, something like that. So to understand how its diet works actually. Next up was Thermopylae, and Thermopylae students had to experiment some board games that we had developed in Genially, and then they had to build their own one. So in the beginning, they had to experiment this one to know how to make use of Genially, how they can introduce their and add there some elements. And then they collaborated to Tinkercad so as to design their poems. They made use of AI and Canva or other apps so as to make the layouts. And finally, they combined it and they followed one template, a ready template of Genially, and they created their one. And they had made use of cards with STEM, compounds, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. And they played this. And last, there is Mediterranean Diet for Overall Health. It's an Erasmus eTwinning project that we run this year and the last year. And here we want to see the role of food, not only as food, but also as foundation of the cultural identity and the community continuity, etc. But our main aim is to help students increase their adherence to Mediterranean diet, because we have all developed that there is need for a better adherence, but also to develop some skills, those that will become nutritionists, but dietitians and even the food technologists to develop how food is important for a lot other things after our health and environment health, etc. And make use of it in their future careers. Here there are 80 web quests, and they have a lot of explanations. Actually, there are 3 modules. One module again for climate change, one module that has to do with nutrition, and then there is a focus to the Mediterranean diet and all the principles that haven't adapted to the former modules. And here I have some simulations that we have used during this project. And there are also some then Roads Climate Solution Simulator students also like this, and the sample of WebQuest you can see here. And also you can see that we made use of mind maps so students to know how to structure their thoughts and their observations, etc. There are also some escape rooms here. Escape rooms and comics are passion. And study cases, also labels, and students had also to design their labels for food and be sure that they would include all the information and give us much more information for the consumers. And also they had to experiment some food processing methods and see how we can turn some products to be more healthy for us and the environment. You can see here that there were a lot of real world connections where students visited industries. They spoke to farmers and they had to develop some key skills. They also did some quality control. They cooked, they preserved products, etc. They made use of simulators during our mobilities. And I think that in this way they have developed a lot of skills related to nutrition or food science. Actually, I would like, before I close, to say that I think that if we wonder why I'm teaching, why I want my students to develop these skills, we can find our way to teach them in a more innovative way. I told in the beginning that I know that there are scientists, more real scientists than me there, but I have the passion with laboratories and to give my students the chance to develop more. So I think that even in every theoretical subject, we can find the science because actually the whole world is built based to mathematics, chemistry, physics, etc. So we can make real world connections to be more able for students to make a link and develop all these skills. I don't know if I was good in presenting you the, let's say, success stories of our projects, but I would like, if you want some question, I'm here.
Thank you so much, Aspasia. Indeed, you've been great in giving this comprehensive overview of different projects that also involve different aspects of science, because you mentioned nutrition, but then also sustainability, experimenting. So I think it was really inspiring, as you can see also in the chat. Participants appreciated a lot the inputs that you gave. And yeah, I also encourage participants to post any questions because we still have some time. So in case you have any questions, something was not clear, or you would just like to share a thought with Aspasia, now it's the moment. And while we wait for our participants to post any questions, if there are, I was checking the Padlet that we posted at the beginning of the session, where we asked our participants to post any ideas or effective strategies that they use to include science education in the classroom. And there are quite many interesting contributions that I would like to read. So we also give some time for any questions. So for example, we see, okay, Martina from Czech Republic, this school year, our students and I visited an old hydroelectric power plant converted into a museum and exhibition rooms. And next year, we plan to visit a local water treatment plant that is currently being expanded. We'll take photos at the site, send them with comments to our foreign partners who have been involved in wind energy this year. So that sounds like a very interesting project or activity. I don't know what you think, Aspasia, but
Indeed, that visits have to show students a lot, because it's different to speak or describe them this, and different to see by their own eyes.
indeed. And then we have also, as an English teacher, spark interest in science by guiding students to write speculative fiction rooted in real scientific ideas. That's very interesting. We discussed climate change, space and genetics, then imagine future scenarios. Students collaborate with science peers to ensure accuracy. This fusion of storytelling and science sparked curiosity. They explore complex topics while sharpening language skills, discovering that science isn't just factual, it's full of wonder and possibility. That's also very true and very much in line also with what you, Aspasia, mentioned at the beginning about not just learning, but doing science.
Yes, that's the point.
And then we have other nice project. And actually we have a couple of success stories. So my journey with eTwinning started with a small step, but it was a special beginning. As a new teacher in the program, I was excited to discover new ways to develop my skills and make learning more fun for my students, connection with partners, and a first approach to new digital tools. Although I'm still at the beginning, I felt proud when I saw my students communicating and learning from their peers in other countries. So that's a feeling, I guess, that many teachers share in their first steps in eTwinning. So that's really nice to hear. And we have some pictures also of activities with science-related topics. Also projects related to geography, tourism, so also different aspects related to science. It's very, very nice to see so many ideas and so many partnerships created around the topic of science. And this Padlet remains available for you. You can keep on populating it also after this webinar. It will be uploaded together with the recording in the page of the webinar. So that remains there for you to check, even to get inspired by other ideas or contact other teachers and hopefully form a partnership. So it was very, very nice to read all your contributions. Let me see if in the chat, in the meanwhile, we have any questions. See many positive comments. So very nice presentation, well researched, interesting presentation. So we're happy to read this. Actually, I had just a final questions, Aspasia, if I may, because you mentioned a lot of different projects covering also different aspects of science. Do you think these tools and these approaches that you mentioned that they can adapt to different age categories, or you had in mind a specific age category while you were making this journey into the projects you presented?
I believe that it's because it's relative to food, it can be adapted in every level of education, and that's why everything we share on Twin Space or in our dissemination events, etc., is shareable for free, and they can make use and adapt it in their students' needs or target group needs, let's say, because some of them can be adapted even in different levels. But I would like to mention here that we had some projects. They are not among them here because it was not clear science, let's say, but it was about food, and we had from primary education students until students of high school that we are, even general vocational, primary schools, gymnasium, etc. And all students could work collaboratively in the same ways, and I liked that fact. But also I have to mention that in our project we also have a partnership with a school with adults. It's we have here in Greece vocational high school for young young learners, 15, 18 years old, but we also have some adults that are coming back to school, and they don't want to have adult education. They want a degree there, so they are also involved and engaged in these projects. And I think that they have the experience to teach the other students more. And also we have some visits to nearby schools from primary education, and sometimes my students present some of the tasks to the children there, and they achieve very well, and sometimes even better than the older one. So I think everyone needs to know how food is produced, processed, how it's transferred, all the steps of food system. And climate change is something that we have to encourage students to learn more from earlier lives, because these are the generation that will face all those that our generation has wrong built in that part. So I think that they can adapt it by all. Maybe they have to change some photos to the escapes rooms and make it more attractive for students, younger students, but they can.
Yeah, so science education can unite us all, and there's flexibility in all
Yes.
these approaches that you mentioned. So I think that's a very useful information for all the teachers listening. And we really hope that you will implement or anyway reflect on these new practices in your own classroom, and that you will take away some good tips from this webinar and from Aspasia's presentation. I again thank you very much, Aspasia, for sharing with us your knowledge, your time, and all the
Thank you very
nice
much, Alessia. Thank you all that were here.
and really for telling us about your projects, and also some behind the scenes of your journey, like the challenges, the first steps, the moments of difficulties, but also the moment of big achievements. So thank you very much again. I see a technical question in the chat. If there is a certificate, we remind you that we don't issue any certificates for the participation in webinars. But I also remind you that this recording, together with the presentation and the Padlet, will be uploaded in the page on the European School Education platform dedicated to this webinar, and the link is in the chat. So if you want to rewatch the recording, if you want to share with some colleagues at school, if you want to work on these concepts, you have the opportunity to do it because the recording will be there. And I thank you again, Aspasia, and I thank you all for being here with us today, and I wish you all a nice evening.
Thank you very much.
Bye, Aspasia.
Bye.